2, 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are starting the new canto, canto 3. Did anyone have any time to read? Or anyone knows about Vidura? Who is Vidura?
There is Rashtra's half brother,
Yeah, younger brother.
younger brother.
Yeah.
But he was born out of
Maid servant.
maid servant.
Yeah. Not the Thrashtra's mother, but the maid servant, her maid servant.
Yeah, that's why I said half brother.
Yeah. Yeah. The father was the same
Father was
for all three, Vyasadev.
Hmm.
So two sisters, Ambika and Ambalika. Ambika's son is Dhritarashtra. Ambalika's son is, he was Pandu.
Pandu. Yeah.
Correct? So in one of the sessions, we talked about it, that when Vyasadeva was approached by Satyavati, his mother, to impregnate her two daughters-in-law, because at that time that was the system. If the man, the husband, would die, then any other brothers of the deceased man can impregnate the sister-in-law or any Brahmana. So that was a system at that time in Dwapar Yuga. But clearly it is prohibited in Kali Yuga, because there was a condition. No aspect, no tint of any lust should be there in the mind, both the man and woman. So when Vyasadeva was invited by Satyavati, so he just directly came from the forest. He was doing austerities. So he told his mother, "Give me 1 year," because young women, they focus more on the physical appearance. So I'm not so attractive at this point of time. So his mother said, she could not wait. When he went in the chamber of Satyavati's older daughter-in-law, so she could not bear his appearance. His body's hue, very dark complexion. So she closed her eyes. And after sowing the seed in her womb, when Vyasadeva went out, so Satyavati asked him what happened. So he said that she will give birth to a very strong boy, strong person, but he would be blind because she closed her eyes. So from this, we can understand at the time of conception, the consciousness of the mother is very important. The soil is more significant than the seed. Seed may be very potent, but if the soil is not fertile, then the seed cannot be useful. So then she told him to go to the chamber of the other daughter-in-law. So next evening he went there. So she did not close her eyes, but she became very pale. Seeing his appearance, she became very pale. So Vyasadeva, after he went out, so he told his mother that the child would be normal, not blind, but very sick, very sickly, because she became very pale. Particularly, the disease is called jaundice, when the liver doesn't work well. So jaundice, and jaundice is called Pandu rog. Pandu means yellow. The skin becomes yellow, the eyes become very yellowish. So he said that his health will not be so good. So then she was not happy. Then after 1 year, after the children were born, so she asked Vyasadeva again to approach her older daughter-in-law. So when he agreed and her daughter-in-law came to know, she sent her maidservant. She said, I don't want to spend time with him. Then that maidservant served Vyasadeva very nicely with good consciousness. So then Vyasadeva sowed the seeds. seen in a womb, and then he told his mother Satyavati, this child will be very intelligent, very capable, very intelligent, he will become very famous. And that was Vidura. Now, why Vidura? Vidura, who was he actually in the heavenly planets? Who is Vidura? He became a human being. He came to the Mrityuloka because of a curse. He is originally Yamraj, Dharmaraj. So he was cursed by a sage called Manduka. Somewhere it is mentioned Manduka, or somewhere it is mentioned Mandavya Muni. Now, why the sage had to curse him? Why did he curse him? Have you heard the story? Read the story? History behind? So there was a sage called Mandavya Muni. He was sitting in a meditative pose, meditating. So coincidentally, what happened? Some people stole some valuables from the palace of a king, of the king in that area. And they came here in the ashram where the sage was meditating, and they hid the valuables in his ashram, and they ran away. So the soldiers, the policemen, when they were chasing the robbers, they came to this ashram and they found the valuables, and they saw this sage was in the meditative pose. So they thought that he was pretending, and he was the main in charge, leader of the team, robbers team, gang. So they first tried to wake him up, but he was in samadhi. So they still thought that he was pretending. He was a pretender. So they carried him in the same pose. He was sitting in the lotus pose. So they carried him. And king did not even pay any attention. So king told him to just, put him on the what they call lens. That we call it kind of a suli. In Hindi we say suli, right? Very top, very sharp top. So he was still in that pose. He did not open his eyes. He was in samadhi. But when he sat on that, so because of the piercing effect of the lens, then his body started bleeding. So the king, when he saw that his body was bleeding, but he still was in samadhi. So then king thought, something is not right here. He must be a real sage. Then he told the soldiers, bring him down immediately. So after that, when he opened the eyes, he told the king, it is not your fault. I need to find who is the culprit here. So with his yogic power, he went to Yamaloka, asked Yamaraj that why he was punished like that. That was a power. He had a yogic power. He could go in that same body. Normally, after we leave the body, we cannot go to the other planets in this body. So the Yamaraj told him that, when he was about 5 years old, he pierced one wing of a butterfly with a thorn. So that caused the pain. So this sage told him, actually, 5 years old child, very innocent. He doesn't know what is right, what is wrong, what is sin, what is pious activity. So you are not worthy. You are not qualified to make justice. You are not qualified to sit at this asana as a judge. So I curse you to take birth from a Shudra's womb. That means the woman who is not so intelligent. So now see this Yamaraj, because he's one of the 12 great personalities, we call them Mahajan in Bhagavata. He could have countered the curse, but he did not. Because he knew that, uh, when that sage told him to take birth in Mrityuloka, around that time, Krishna would come to perform his leelas. So he wanted to witness Krishna's leelas. He wanted to associate with him. So he just accepted willingly that curse. So for 100 years, he was supposed to be in that Vidura's body. And after 100 years, he would have gone back to that his original position as Yamaraj, but he got liberated. It is said in the sixth canto of the Bhagavatam, the story, the incident of Ajamil. I'll just very briefly, when we come to that stage, tell you in detail. But in the brief, Ajamil, when he was about 85, the Yamadutas came to pull his soul from his heart. He was feeling very painful, excruciating pain. So because of a pain, he had 10 sons. So the 10th youngest son, this Ajamil was very attached to him, and his name was Narayan. So whatever he would do, he would call his son, come and sit with me, come and eat with me, come and drink water with me, lie down with me. So when he was feeling painful, he called out to his son just for help. He did not think that he's calling the original Narayan, Lord Vishnu. But when he shouted 3 times, Narayan, 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 Vishnu Dutas came and they cut off the ropes which were put by the Yamudutas. So Yamudutas asked them, who are you? Our master told us, he's a sinful person and we have to take his soul, then punish him. And why are you interfering in our work? So Vishnu Dutas said that, we are agents of Lord Vishnu, his servants. So he has given us order to protect him. Now he is under our protection, so you cannot do anything. So Yamudutas, they were quite puzzled, bewildered, that it seems that there is someone who is higher than Yamaraj. They thought, the Yamaraj is the topmost because he's the one who makes a judgment, right? According to the pious activities, tell the souls to go to the heaven, and if they are sinful, just send him to the hell. So they went back to Yampuri, Yamaloka. Then Yamaraj asked them what happened. Where is Ajamil? Then they explained to him everything. When Yamaraj heard, he was so happy. Now he said that you are so fortunate that you are able to see the servants of my master, Narayan. And I'm not so fortunate. So he had that desire, it is said, Vidura, when he became Vidura, he had that desire that, I want to associate with Krishna. That's why he didn't counter the curse of that siege. So Vidura was originally Yamaraj. Now, when he was playing his role as Vidura, Prime Minister of Hastinapur, he was very, very straightforward person. Very straightforward. He would not compromise with the Vedic injunctions, principles. To that extent, once Dhritarashtra asked him, invited him to his chamber to discuss some serious matter, political matter. So because he was invited not by Dhritarashtra as a brother, but as a king, and he went there as a prime minister. So Dhritarashtra was, anxious. He was walking back and forth. So when Vidura reached there, so Dhritarashtra told him, have a seat. So Vidura told him that I am the prime minister and you are the king. So before you, I cannot eat. I cannot sit. You have to sit first. So Dhritarashtra said, why you have to follow all the formalities at all the time? Now who else is here to observe, whether you are following things or not, between both of us? So he said, yeah, I am here, no? I am here to observe. That was his thinking. So then Dhritarashtra, very frustrating, he sat down first. So coming to the point, so Vidura was very particular. I mentioned in the message, when Krishna went to Hastinapur as a peace messenger, he was very anxious because he knew that Duryodhana is not going to accept any of his proposals. He knew it very well, but still performing his duty as a peace messenger, so that people should not blame him. Very tricky way of doing his things, sneaky way. So he was very anxious about Vidura. He was not so much worried about Bhishma Dev, because Bhishma Dev, whatever martial arts, the principles, everything, different techniques, Pandavas they knew, Kauravas they knew, all other kings they knew. Bhishma Dev was still superior to them, even though he was very old, but he was very strong person because of his brahmacharya, celibacy. So Krishna was not so much concerned about him. Krishna was not even concerned about Dronacharya, guru of Kauravas and Pandavas, and he was not even concerned about Karna, who was almost same like Arjuna, right? But he was more worried about Vidura. Krishna thought if Vidura, as a prime minister, he has to fight, he will fight from Kaurava's side, right? So Krishna knew that Bhishma Dev will never kill Pandavas. He will injure them, but never kill. Karna could not kill Arjuna, at least. Karna could kill all other 4 brothers, but could not kill Arjuna. Do you know this incident behind it? Why Karna could not kill? Sorry? No, Karna himself had promised Mother Kunti that he will not kill Arjuna. He may kill other four. No, he will kill Arjuna, but he will not kill any other brothers. So he told Kunti that whatever may be the outcome, result of the war, either I will survive or Arjuna will survive. So the count of your sons will not be affected. You still will be mother of for five children, five sons. So either of me will survive, either of us, I mean Arjuna and Karna. So Karna had promised Mother Kunti, he will not kill. And another person, if you have read Mahabharat, was Jayadratha. You know the incident behind Jayadratha? When Jayadratha, when Pandavas were in the forest with Draupadi in exile for 12 years, so Jayadratha happened to pass by from that place, their cottage, hermitage. At that time, Draupadi was alone. So Jayadratha, I'm not sure whether you know that, Jayadratha was Sindhi. He was the king of Sindh province. So he was quite captivated by the beauty of Draupadi. So he kidnapped her. So when Pandavas came back, then Arjuna and Bhima, they went to look for Draupadi. So when they came to know from a passerby that somebody kidnapped one woman and went in certain direction, so Arjuna and Bhima, they ran in that direction. And Arjuna, using his knowledge of archery, he chanted some mantras and shot the arrows to stop the chariot of Jayadratha. And they insulted Jayadratha. Actually, they should have killed him, but Maharaj Yudhishthira, being a very compassionate person, pious person, so he said, because he is our brother-in-law, so if we kill him, then our sister Dushala will become a widow. She was the real sister of Kauravas, right? So we should not kill him, but we insult him in a way that he will remember rest of his life. So they shaved his head. In those days, Kshatriya warriors, they would not shave, they would not even cut their hair. Women also, they would not do that. So they shaved him, and only 5 shikhas they left for him. Very strange looks he had at that time. So Jayadratha also, as a warrior, he could not swallow that insult. So instead of going back to his kingdom, he went to the forest and he did the austerity to please Lord Shiva. In those days, warriors, they would always do tapasya to please Lord Shiva or Brahma. The worshipping part of worshipping Krishna, that thing was introduced by Mother Kunti. So the trend, the tradition, the custom is called pratha, right, in Hindi. There's a trend going on in the society. So the trend in the warriors society was to worship Lord Shiva or Brahma. But Mother Kunti changed the trend. So because she changed the trend, one of her names is Pratha. And that's why Arjuna is called Parth, Kunti's son, right? So Jayadratha did not go back and he did the austerity to please Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva was pleased with his austerity at tapasya, then blessed him. He said that he could not defeat, what to speak of killing Arjuna, but could not even defeat Arjuna because Arjuna had Pashupat Astra of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva said, but he could defeat other 4 Pandavas. And that was the thing, it happened when Abhimanyu wanted to come out from the Chakravyuh. The 4 brothers could not enter that Chakravyuh because Jayadratha stopped them. So coming back to this point, Vidura's part. So Krishna was very much concerned about Vidura. He was not even worried about Jayadratha. Because he said Vidura is so much duty bound, so objective, so straightforward in his dealings. Even if he had to fight from Kaurava's side, even though he was so much affectionate towards Pandavas, Vidura protected Pandavas many times. But still, when it comes to fighting a war against Pandavas, he could kill them because he would be fighting on the behalf of the king Dhritarashtra. and very loyal to the throne, he would kill them. So he was very much worried about that. So being very sneaky and tricky, he created a situation when Duryodhana insulted Vidura. In that assembly, when the dice game was being played, and after that, when they tried to disrobe Draupadi, Vidura was the only person who objected, and Duryodhana was very much angry with that. So at that time, also he insulted him, and later on, when the discussions regarding the war was going on, at that time also Vidura was not in favor of war. So he was trying to persuade his brother, older brother Dhritarashtra, to stop it and give back the kingdom. So when he was again and again saying like that on behalf of Pandavas, Duryodhana could not tolerate that, and he told him to get out. He said, "You are a Dasi Putra, you are a maid servant son. You are not loyal to us." So Vidura took advantage of that situation. He left, and he started visiting different places of pilgrimage. So this was Krishna's plan. And after that, Krishna was very relieved when he heard that Vidura is no more there in Hastinapur. Was very relieved. So here, from these kind of incidents, what do we learn? What do we learn from this incident? Any guess? Hmm? That's obvious.
Pros and cons in doing your duty with loyalty.
Of course, yes. Pros and
Like
cons
you're
always.
not seeing what's right and wrong. You're just stuck to the loyalty aspect.
Yes.
I mean, loyalty should be there, but you still need the discrimination of what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
If someone's doing something wrong, you don't be loyal and still go by it.
Yes. Yeah. So see, many times it happens with us also, because there are so many kind of norms in the society, so many principles, those keep on changing, but whatever the norms are being observed at certain period of time, so we also need to observe those, right? Even though sometimes we may think it's not right, but then in Sindhi we say manu cha chaunda, right? So because of that we just follow that, though our heart doesn't agree with us what we are doing, right? So other thing, important thing, anybody wants to share anything?
Krishna or God,
Huh?
whether we say Krishna or any God, protects us without us having that knowledge.
Krishna, God, sorry.
It's basically Krishna was protecting.
Yes, Krishna was protecting. Yes. Now
He probably would not have.
that's the point. Just to extend that point, elaborate that. To protect his devotees, Krishna can go to any extent. Even though he may get a bad name, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Though he says in Bhagavad Gita, he's very neutral. No, he's not biased. But when it comes to protecting his devotees, there is no limit for him. He can break any laws. To the extent of people calling him by different names, he doesn't care that.
He can actually destroy the devotee.
Yeah. Yes. So Vidura was very much same way. Maharaj Yudhishthira also. He was so much duty bound, and because of holding on to the material principles, he did not care so much about the spiritual principles, and that was his mistake at that time. So Krishna doesn't see that. Krishna, if he has to break any law, now he is the one who establishes the law, right? He's the lawmaker, but he's a lawbreaker also. So to protect his devotees, he did that. He created the situation where Vidura had to leave. Now Vidura, when he went to the forest, two people mainly in that time, they did not take part in the war. One was Vidura, the other one was no, Dhritarashtra. Of course, he was a blind, he could not. Balram, Krishna's brother. He also did not take part because he said he is not in favor of same family members fighting with each other. So he also went to the places of pilgrimage, and Vidura also did the same thing. So after visiting so many places of pilgrimage, Vidura went to the ashram of Maitreya Muni. Now Maitreya Muni also is not an ordinary person. Maitreya Muni, in a way, he was disciple of Uddhav. Who is Uddhav? In one of the sessions we talked about him. Who is Uddhav? Can say Krishna's friend, but he had some biological relationship also. He's Krishna's cousin. And he would look exactly biologically, physically, would look like Krishna himself. Complexion also was same like Krishna. So, because he was very learned, very knowledgeable, very rational, logical person, and many times to resolve some political situation, Krishna would seek his advice. He was so knowledgeable. Now, of course, Krishna could resolve any kind of situation, but to give him credit in the eyes of other assembly members, he would call out for Uddhava, come and resolve this. I think one of the sessions I'm discussed this when Sudama visited Dwarika. You remember, Kiranji? Yeah. So at that time, Uddhava was called by Krishna to resolve that kind of a problematic situation where 16,108 wives of Krishna, they wanted to do the Abhishek of Sudama. Everyone was holding the pot of water. So Sudama said, if so much water will be poured on my body will be swept away. So at that time, Krishna called Uddhava and asked him what to do. So Uddhava said, just get one empty pot and ask all the queens to put one spoon from their pots in that, and then it means everybody is contributing to that water to do the Abhishek. So coming to the point, because Uddhava was very knowledgeable, very learned, well versed with all the Shastras, Vedas. So Krishna wanted to kind of flame that spark of bhakti in his heart. So he sent Uddhava to Vrindavan with his message. So when Uddhava he reached Vrindavan, gopis initially thought that Krishna has come back. But then later on, when they observed him properly, then they realized it cannot be Krishna. One simple kind of a thing, which Uddhav did not have. Can anyone guess what was that? Peacock feather on his crown. Peacock feather. So Uddhav did not have. So then they realized he is not Krishna. Then Uddhav told them. So Uddhav was, speaking to them from the Jnana Kanda. Do meditation and all that. You visualize Krishna, you'll be happy and all that. So when Gopi told him, when I'm hungry, I just visualize that I'm eating food, my stomach will not be full. What kind of theory you are teaching us? This is nonsense. Then Uddhava also realized his mistake, He said, I cannot teach them. Then Gopis taught him the bhakti part. So then he became a devotee. Then Krishna, when he became a devotee, in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, there is a conversation between Krishna and Uddhav, and that's called Uddhav Gita. The one Gita is like Krishna and Arjuna's conversation. This one is conversation between Uddhav and Krishna. There are different Gitas named in our scriptures. There is one Gita between Lakshman and Ram also, Lakshman Gita. In Panchavati, I think they had conversation. So coming back to this part, so yes, Uddhava was knowledgeable. To create the bhakti, he was sent to Vrindavan. Now Uddhava met Maitreya Muni. Now here, see, we have to learn sometimes what happens, in spiritual life also. Sages, rishis, yogis, they follow certain etiquette. Now Uddhava knew Vidura personally, right? But he did not want to impart that knowledge directly to Vidura. He wanted Maitreya Muni to get the credit. So Uddhava initiated Maitreya Muni and then told him that Vidura will visit him, then he would share that knowledge with him. So this is called disciplic succession. Even when gurus sometimes they can directly impart that knowledge to someone, but to give credit to their disciples or their followers, they would engage the others also, so that they also get the credit. Not only they get the credit, but when they share that knowledge, what they have learned from the guru, so their consciousness also becomes purified by sharing. Only learning is not enough. We have to share that also. Then the purification happens. So Uddhava imparted that knowledge to Maitreya Muni, and then Maitreya Muni gave that knowledge to Vidura. And when Vidura visited his hermitage, then Maitreya Muni said, actually, I was waiting for you. Because Uddhava already told him that Vidura will come and you just share this knowledge with him. So this conversation, the Bhagavatam, conversation is going on between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So when Shukdev Goswami started narrating about Vidura to Parikshit Maharaj, then he told him, that Vidura was not an ordinary person. He was an extraordinary person. Like your uncle of your grandfather. He was Arjuna's uncle, no? Arjuna is Parikshit Maharaj's grandfather. Right? So uncle of your grandfather, and he was very favorable to your grandfather and his brothers. He protected their lives many times. Vidura protected their lives. Do you know the main thing when that actually Parikshit Maharaj told, Shukdev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj that one of the times, when conspiracy was made by Kauravas, mainly Duryodhana, Shakuni and Karna, to burn Pandavas in the wax house. Right? So Vidura was the one who gave some indication to Maharaj Yudhishthir how they can protect themselves. You know the incident? What was the conversation? What kind of indication Vidura gave to Maharaj Yudhishthir that they can protect themselves, safeguard themselves? Sorry? Yes, but how? How to make that escape route? A tunnel. How could they make it? Because when Duryodhana told Pandavas they can go to Wax House, to collect the tax from that district, and they could stay there. And he constructed the palace for them. So it was made of wax. So Vidura came to know through his spies that why Duryodhana was so keen to send the Pandavas there. And that also, with Mother Kunti. So when he came to know that, so much of wax and fat was used to construct that palace, so he knew that, something is not right. Maybe they are going to set fire on that, and then the Pandavas and Mother Kunti will get burnt in that. So he wanted to inform Pandavas, but the situation was such that he could not meet them. And when he went to meet them at that time, Duryodhana and his brothers also went to visit Pandavas. So he could not openly inform Pandavas about it. So he asked a question. He said, now the season, like autumn season. So no, actually it was spring season. He said, now the season is such that one flower is called palash. It's saffron in color, yellow in color. So those that palash flowers will blossom in the forest. So when you see from a higher level, you'll think that the whole forest is burning. So then he said, if the forest is burning, which creature can save his life in the forest fire? Nobody could give the answer. What did Maharaj Yudhishthira say? Mice, the rats. Because the rats, they live in the holes, right, underneath. So Maharaj Yudhishthira got the message. Now see, Maharaj Yudhishthira also is the son of Dharamraj. And Vidura is also Dharamraj, Yamraj. So both of them, they could understand each other's language, secret language. So Maharaj Yudhishthira got the message. So when they were there in that wax house, so Mother Kunti was saying that, now we are here and we cannot openly invite someone to dig a tunnel here. So Maharaj Yudhishthira told her that, don't worry. If Uncle Vidur knows about it, he will make the arrangement. And then one person came, because so many people were visiting them, bringing the valuables, gifts, and all that, texts and all that. So one person, he just brought a cage with a rat inside. So Maharaj Yudhishthira asked him, what is the significance of this rat? So he said that he can dig holes in the ground at a very deep level. So they engaged that man. He was the main that worker who could dig the tunnel. So he did that. So Shukdev Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit, this is the way Vidura saved the life of Pandavas. So he was not an ordinary person. And in addition to being a politician, great politician, straightforward politician, he is a great devotee also. And Maitreya Muni told him that, he said, because of that, Krishna imparted the knowledge to Uddhava, and he told he told Uddhava that knowledge should be shared with Maitreya Muni, and that Maitreya Muni was there waiting for him to share that knowledge with him. So here I want to mention that at many places in our scriptures it is mentioned this sublime knowledge. It is mentioned that it should not be shared with people who don't have faith. Otherwise, it is insulting to the knowledge. Krishna himself had mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. He told Arjuna that don't share this knowledge with people who don't have faith in me. Now, it's good that, Bhagavad Gita was compiled by Vyasadeva, not by any American. Otherwise, say, oh, this is discrimination, How can you do that? So, in the yogic system also, there are many yogic techniques which are mentioned. In those days, yoga was not taught to anybody, walk into the class. They would test the person whether the person was qualified to learn or not. And after testing that, then only they will impart the knowledge. It is not that because they wanted to be kind of doing discrimination or something, because they were very careful. If this kind of sublime knowledge is given to person, it goes into wrong hands, it will be misused. For that reason, they would say that, they would not give this knowledge to anybody. So Shukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj here, and on the other side, Suta Goswami is narrating all these incidents to the 88,000 sages who had gathered at the Nemasharanya place of pilgrimage, a holy place. So in addition to telling this, now see this in Bhagavatam before also I've said, all these incidents, they are not in the sequence. It's not in chronological order, because it's like a conversation. It was not pre-planned. The whole incident, the meeting of Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami, it was not pre-planned. It happened by the will of Krishna. So whatever questions Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Shukdev Goswami is answering those questions. So it's not in proper chronological order. So here now, in this part of the Bhagavatam third canto, Vidura's part, Maitreya Muni is telling Parikshit Maharaj. And he told Parikshit Maharaj that how Vidura came to this world. Because he was Yamaraj, as we talked about, and he could have countered, but he did not do that. He wanted to get liberated by witnessing Krishna's pastimes and by personally associating with him. Krishna was so much fond of him. When he went as a peace messenger, Duryodhana invited him to his palace. Krishna said, no. I would go and have my meals at Vidura's place. So he gave so much importance to Vidura. Any question here so far what we discussed, or any realization, any comment about Vidura?
What was the knowledge that Maitreya
Yeah, that we are going to discuss.
gave
Yes.
Vidura?
Yeah, this I'm just today I'm going giving this background. The knowledge is quite interesting and insightful. The conversation is very, very interesting. I would urge all of you to read. Now, when you are commuting by trains or by your car also, just everything at our fingertips, right? Just use your phone. Veda based conversation is very interesting. And please read the purports. Purports are very insightful. So those things we are going to discuss also. And it will be good, as I said, if you read those things, then you also can share what you learn from that. What is your realization? One of the things it is said, that when Vyasadeva went to on the request, not request actually, the order of his mother Satyavati to her eldest daughter-in-law Ambika. So she closed her eyes. So Vyasadeva said not only her son would be blind physically, but intellectually also. Because she did not realize, as a queen, she should have realized that this man has come, this sage has come, my brother-in-law has come to sow the seed in my womb to give a descendant to our clan. So she should have used her intellect, her rationale, but she did not. She felt very disgusted. So Vyasadeva said, not only he will be bereft of the physical eyes, vision, but his intelligence also will be lost. That's why he was so much greedy and so much attached, so possessive, and he could not decide what is right, what is wrong. And that was the main cause of the war. But in a way, it is that actually we should be grateful to him. Because of that, the war happened, and because of that, we got the Bhagavad Gita.
Sorry, when you see these stories, like especially about the sowing the seed and all, to a younger generation, it's very hard to explain to them. Because you see, the thing is that I think at that time, in that yuga, this was brought for you, right? The lust component wasn't there maybe as much.
Yeah.
So, how do you, like, if you're talking about the Bhagavatam, right? And you were to give the Bhagavatam to like a younger group, between their 20s, how would you explain this?
Yeah, so that's the part what you said. At that time, Dwapar Yuga, lust component was not there. And in Kali Yuga, it is there. That's why it is forbidden. It is not acceptable. It is abominable, actually.
Yeah.
It's immoral.
Immoral, correct.
Yes, it's immoral. In Kali Yuga, see, certain rules and regulations, they are according to the Yuga. Now, what to speak of Vyasadeva sowing the seed in the womb of Ambika and Ambalika? Even Vyasadev's father, Satyavati, was a daughter of a fisherman. And Vyasadev's father is a Parasha, great sage. So this Vyasadev's mother, her duty was to bring the passengers from one bank of the river to the other side by rowing the boat. So when Parasha Muni boarded her boat, then he told her, because he was Trikaldarshi, that means he would know past, present and future. So he told her that she is the chosen one from whose womb the great sage Vyasadeva will take birth. So she was quite shocked. She was very young and Parasha Muni was very elderly sage. So she said, both sides there are people waiting for me to bring them from one side to the other. They would be watching. He said, don't worry. Then through his yogic power, he created a fog. So people could not see what was happening there. Then he sowed the seed, and because she also said concern, she said, my body, because I'm a fisherman's daughter and I am occupied in this kind of occupation, my body is so filthy, dirty, and smells so bad. Won't you feel uncomfortable? He said, because I'm a duty bound person, so I won't care. And he said, I bless you that after today's our union, your body will have very nice fragrance, and that fragrance can be sensed, felt by people 100 miles away from you. And that's why her body would have released that fragrance. And because of that fragrance, Shantanu was captivated. Shantanu was looking, where this fragrance is coming from. Then that brought Shantanu to her. And when he saw her beauty, he also was quite captivated. Bhishma Dev's father. Right? So in those days, they were duty bound. So their intellect would be controlling the mind, not the other way around. In our case, what happens? Our mind controls the intellect. We get carried away by the mental desires. That's why so many things we are not allowed to do in Kali Yuga. Not allowed to do it. There are certain techniques still in yoga, like for example, some techniques our yoga guru had taught. Such techniques are such, I mean, when they are practiced properly, a grown-up man, adult man, will not be affected by any woman's beauty, no matter how beautiful the woman is. The control of the will, the mind is brought under the control of the will. So when that person has that kind of power, no effect. So Guru said, there are two situations where an adult grown-up man, young man, will not be affected by beauty of a woman. Either the man is important or the man has the knowledge of this technique and he practices that. So there are certain techniques still possible. By doing those techniques, those kind of results can be achieved. Nowadays, the yoga also has become very commercial. So because it is so diluted, because of the dilution, the essence is gone. Of course, it has become very popular, very famous, but the effect is not there. And also the objective behind learning is not the same like it was before. So when the objective is not right and the whole methodology is not right, then the results also not right. So coming to the point what you said, yes, it is not so easy to make the younger generation understand this. And that's the reason, when they don't understand, then they neglect it completely. They say, oh, we don't want to hear about these things. But to make them understand, first we need to be convinced. If we ourselves are in doubt, then how can we convince them? So we need to be convinced, that these things happen. And this is the way the things happen, and these were the principles people used to follow at that time. Like in one of the sessions, we talked about 5 Pandavas getting married to Draupadi, right? So at that time, Mother Kunti asked her son Yudhishthir, is it proper? Can you cite any example, any evidence from the scriptures? So because Yudhishthir was very well versed with all the scriptures, so he said yes. In the one scripture he read that 7 uh, brothers, sages, they married to one sage's daughter. It happened. But then he told her, because the scriptures also are written by different sages, different rishis, so sometimes you may find some contradiction. Then he told her, you decide, because according to Shastras, mother also is considered as a guru. So Guru's agya, Guru's order will follow. But then at that time, Kunti also could not decide, and then Krishna came and Krishna explained to them everything what happened. And actually, Draupadi in the previous life, she had done that. And even Draupadi's father, she also was quite taken aback. How can it be possible? Then Draupadi's guru made him understand, this is what your destiny, your daughter's destiny is like that. So don't worry about that. So there are some exceptions also in the scriptures. So the exceptions at that time also, they did not become the norms. They were only applicable to that group of people, particular group of people, not to everybody. Commonly, people won't do that. But nowadays, that because people they don't have proper knowledge, when they see some kind of prominent people in the society are doing, they also start following.
Everyone starts following.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's correct.
Yeah. So still, that's why this kind of education, this kind of knowledge is very, very important, because human life we don't know when we will be eligible, qualified to get the human birth. As you said, earlier we were discussing casually, people in Hong Kong, we are overly blessed, he said. We get so many opportunities, to
So much around us that we can go to, so many temples, so many functions, so many priests, so many people coming,
so many saintly people
opportunity
visit
is-
Hong Kong
yeah,
and all that.
opportunity is way, way bigger than many other places.
And because you're such a small city, there's access. If you go to America, Europe, there are not such things on weekdays. And weekends, the elderlies are stuck at home dependent on younger speakers. Here, how many elders
we
did
take
you
it
go and see
and then
move
we
on
take
their
it for
own?
granted. It's there, right? So I'll go tomorrow. Or the day after.
And see, I'm give you the example of Yamadutas. We are more fortunate than Yamadutas because Yamadutas also did not know there is somebody superior to their master Yamaraj. We know that there is superior in Narayan, superior to Yamaraj. So we are more fortunate than Yamaraj. I mean Yamadutas. And Yamadutas, who are in the higher planets. So they are less fortunate than human beings. And human beings in general also, in scriptures, so many places, in so many scriptures it is mentioned, human life is very, very rare. It is more significant, more important, more valuable than the form of any demigod. Any demigod for the matter.
Because you see, it takes sometimes thousands and thousands of years to be born as a human.
Yes. Yes. So that's the thing I just said earlier. We don't know how many thousands of years we will have to wait to be born again as a human being. And when we are qualified to be born as a human being after thousands of years, no more temples left. Then we will miss a chance. We won't get at that time. We won't get any chance, but we'll miss the chance what Krishna has given us now, this form of life. So make the best use of bad bargain. We have habit of always complaining. This is not right. That is not right. So many things are not right. Right. So many things other people they don't do right, and other people they think about us also. So many things we are not doing in the right way. Right. So that goes on. So instead of focusing on those very trivial things, focus on very important thing. The human form of life is very, very rare. Just take full advantage of that and get out of this material world. The problem with us, we want both, right? We want to live comfortably, at the same time we want to be qualified to be liberated after that, and that's difficult.
Difficult because it's the right thing. We're just asking to be comfortable. You're not really asking for riches.
Of course, see, the thing is that
Like I don't see them both as a contradiction.
I agree with you, but see, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, first when Arjuna asks him, that after knowing also whatever action the person is going to take is a sinful act. After knowing that also, what kind of force pushes the person to do that? Person doesn't stop doing that, even though he knows the consequences, what will happen. So what kind of force pushes in him? So Krishna says temptation, lust. Then he gives further he tells Arjuna how the lust comes in mind, the mind of person. When the person is in the comfort zone. When the person's life becomes very comfortable, then the lusty desires become very strong. So there is I did not say impossible, I said it's difficult. It's very challenging.
No, I know, but then Krishna himself gave Sudama palaces and everything and comfort. So that contradicts, if you're pushing him towards becoming a more.
Very good point you raised, Kiranji. See, in that context, there are so many such examples. The devotees they become so prosperous when Krishna has full faith in the person that whatever material opulences I'm providing to this person will not misuse them. He will utilize them without getting entangled, without being influenced by the material comforts. He will stay above, he will remain transcendental. Then Krishna provides.
I think whether we want to admit it or not, unfortunately, if you see even in the people around us or in the world, if you see fights generally that happen, they unfortunately happen more in wealthy families. Say, for example, there are fights between siblings and all. Okay, we just think about like money, right? It's the more you have, the more you fight.
Absolutely.
The less you have nothing to fight for.
But I think it's just, you shouldn't, like, the way I look at it is I agree. I'm not saying I disagree with that. I don't know how many people fight or don't fight. That's none of my business. But all I'm saying is that don't feel guilty for God giving you good things.
Of course.
Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, like you shouldn't feel like, like, yeah, like you don't want to put people in a position that, oh, I'm comfortable and this is not what I'm supposed Yeah, maybe this is also something that you're
Yes,
supposed
of course, we had to accept graciously. Yes,
That's
we
what
had to
I'm trying
express,
to
keep
say.
on
Yeah,
expressing our gratitude,
yeah,
and then acknowledge that that Krishna is blessing us with that.
Yeah.
So when we have that kind of mindset, we are aware that this is provided by Krishna out of his causeless mercy, then we won't misuse it.
And also we can use it then to help
Of course,
others.
of course.
Others. But in general, I mean, if it's been written for years and years and years, it's harder and definitely more difficult. It's easier to get entangled when temptations are around you.
Yes,
It's just the way it is, right?
yes, yes,
That's in Kali Yuga, right?
yeah,
It's easier to get entangled. It's
yes,
been proven. It's we see it, and that's why we are taught, right?
correct,
Be
correct.
careful.
Yes,
Because
yes,
Maya Nagri, right? They
absolutely,
keep on telling us all these things.
absolutely.
There's a reason, because obviously it must be that easier to get entangled.
Yes. See, what she said about poor people, there are less kind of chances of having quarrels, fights amongst the family members and all that, because they're so much focused on taking care of their basic necessities,
Yeah.
right? So when they have extra wealth, then proportionately the focus on basic necessities is much less. Then they want to do some more things,
Because if
and
they
when
do
they have
one
more
thing,
desires, those
Yeah.
more desires cause the problems.
100% more desire you have, it just increases. We in the like we've been learning in the Gita for so many years. Like if you just a simple desire to buy a dress, one simple desire to buy a dress multiplies so much. Then you want something to match with it. It just goes on and
Yes,
on and on
absolutely,
and on.
absolutely,
It doesn't stop.
absolutely.
Feeling of desire.
Yeah, it just keeps on going on. It's not like today I'll say I will do one thing with this money and that's it. I'm done. I'm not. It's not going
It's
to.
not, no,
It's impossible.
it is not possible. It's
And
not possible.
again, the example that you gave, you want to buy a dress. Where does that desire stem from? Is it because you saw someone got a new dress
Yeah.
wearing it? That's where it stems from, or you generally want the idea about need and wants, right?
Yeah.
So I generally need one because my old one is over. I need it.
Correct.
So then that the perspective is in the right
Yes, yes,
manner.
yes,
So you will not abuse and disabuse.
yes,
But you have enough, but the desire stem from because someone had it,
correct,
then that's no longer a need, it's a want.
correct, correct.
That's why they many times like they are. I don't know which I had read somewhere that there's some person, some things like some when they want to try to control their desires, they wear all the same color clothes.
Hmm.
So there's no just a small thing, but
Yes.
there's no thought to what should I wear with what. It's
Yes.
just all the same,
Yes, yes.
right? So I mean they're not there, but I'm just saying like all these are desires, right? They
See,
all multiply.
this what you mentioned, Anushkaji. I remember I was in fifth standard, so we were going for picnic. So of course, when we go for picnic, school picnic, people, students, they wear different clothes. Our teacher said everybody should come in the school uniform because I don't want to cause any kind of differences.
Yeah.
That kind of inferiority complex, superiority complex like that. Oh, I'm from a rich family, I'm from a poor family. Everybody should come in the school uniform. When principal heard that, he appreciated it so much. So yeah, so that when we have too much more than what we need, as you said, then there is a risk involved to getting involved to misusing what is provided by Krishna.
There's a talk on TED. I don't remember which part of the TED talk. It's by the head of the Bat Temple, DAP, Swaminarayan Temple. And he had explained very beautifully as to why they wear the orange clothes and the color of that outfit is because it's a reminder daily that you have already come out of the material world. What is your purpose and why you are in this position and what is your goal? So he said, this is not just a garment just because I like this color. He explains it very beautifully on how what it is and how it affects me on a day-to-day basis. I've given up the material desire. I don't have desire in my perspective, and it's all explained in English.
Yes,
very,
yes,
very
yes,
well
yes,
explained.
yes. So even this saffron color, which is like kind of a color for saintly people, brahmacharis and sannyasis. The color also has that effect because saffron color, it emits that orange light, and that resembles our knowledge, gyan. So that awareness is always there. Even if after wearing that saffron robes, if any kind of unnecessary immoral desire comes in their mind, they become very aware, oh, I'm not supposed to do it. Because in this material world, this three gunas will keep on attacking us. So when the mode of passion and mode of ignorance attack us, then even the knowledge which we have, sometimes that is subdued. The effect of knowledge is not there. But then external clothing also can have the effect, not only on us, but on others also. I think I shared in one of the sessions a long time ago. We used to live in Causeway Bay, so early morning we had to come for some temple service, me and my wife. So I was wearing dhoti and kurta and tilak also. My wife also is sari. So we were waiting for the train at the station. So when we went towards the gate, in those days we did not have the platform gates. We were waiting. Few people were waiting already there. When they saw us, they just dispersed. So my wife said, what happened to them? So I took advantage of that situation. On that day, I was giving discourse. I said, see, the effect of the clothes we are wearing. People, they ran away from us. Now, if our consciousness becomes like that, the Maya will leave us. We are useless people, Maya cannot attack us. And this is the way. Like if I go to, supposing after, of course, I will not do that. After discussion here, if I go to any pub in this world, will they allow me to enter?
They will allow you, but they'll make it hard.
But
You're in the wrong place.
they will have.
But certain pubs, they have dress code, right? Then they don't allow, right? So if the external,
Sorry, I have a call.
yes, if the external clothing has that kind of effect on people, what kind of effect our consciousness will have? If our consciousness becomes like that, then the Maya will leave us. Many times it happens, since we are talking about Vidura, many times it happens that due to our weakness, our emotional, intellectual weakness, we don't give up things so easily. We don't give up people. We are attached, right? Sometimes, we don't want to give up some objects. Sometimes we don't want to give up people because of attachment, even though we know that person is doing wrong, right? Vidura took the advantage because he was also quite attached in a way to his older brother, Dhritarashtra. Because of that, even after being insulted during the dice game, after that he stayed back. He did not leave. But at this time, before the war, immediately before the war, he left. Similar thing had happened with Vibhishan. You know who is Vibhishan? Ravana's brother, right? He knew that Ravana did a sinful act by kidnapping Mother Sita. It was not good of him to do that as a king. But he could not give him up. He could not forsake him because he was older brother. And he could not dare to very firmly speak to his older brother Ravana. But when he met Hanuman, when Hanuman went to Lanka, so when Hanuman spoke to him, Hanuman initiated him. Hanuman accepted Vibhishan as his disciple. And he told him, now I'm giving you my Guru Mantra. Tomorrow when you go to the court, you tell your brother that he should return Mother Sita back to Ram, and Ram will forgive him because he's very compassionate to forgive him. Though his sinful act, is not forgivable. So Vibhishan accepted Guru Mantra, he went. Then when he spoke to Ravana, Ravana kicked him. So then he said, now I can leave. Now nobody will tell me that I forsake my older brother. I did not perform my duty as a younger brother. He is the one who kicked me out. So Vibhishan also took advantage of that and immediately went and surrendered to Lord Ram. And what Lord Ramachandra did? Immediately did the coronation ceremony, that you are the next king of Lanka, because Ram knew very, very surely he's going to kill Ravana. So many times it happens with us also, that because of our weakness, material weakness, some kind of spiritual principles we are not able to follow. So sometimes when Krishna sees that our desire is really, really strong to follow certain spiritual things, but material situation is not helping us, then he will create some situation that apparently materially it may look kind of a very miserable thing, but it's like a blessing in disguise. Then it will make our spiritual path easier. Materially it may look bad, Initially, we also may feel bad that what Krishna is doing like this, But the end result, when we see after some time, the end result is much, much better. And then that's the reason it said blessing in disguise. Am I making sense here, what I'm saying? So yeah, so material comforts, generally so many incidents we have seen, that material comforts cause people to become more sinful.
Partaking in vices, is that how they become?
Sorry, by taking undue advantage.
Vices. How do
Vices, yes, because they have more opportunity, they have extra wealth.
That's what's considered
Yes,
from
yes,
the wrongdoing.
correct, correct. Morally also those activities are wrong, and spiritually also they are sinful. If the person does not have so much extra wealth, then he will be focusing using that whatever money he has to take care of the basic needs, no? Right? So when there is extra wealth, then people generally they get carried away. Unless people have real knowledge and the strong willpower to be more aware always, to do right things always. But again, as I said, that this material world, the modes of nature, we don't know when that mode of passion and mode of ignorance attack us. At that time, if we are very weak, then we also get carried away. So many scandals have happened, in the spiritual organizations also. Very learned people, they gave very good discourses and all that, then something happens. So that's the reason Krishna said, this material world is not the place for gentlemen. Is not place for gentlemen. Just leave this place. But again, we need to find a balance. As Kiranji also said that if something is Krishna providing, we should graciously accept and always express our gratitude. And always be mindful when we keep on expressing our gratitude and being mindful, then very, very little chance for us to misuse that. Very little chance. But still chance is there. Yeah.
It's easier to go the other way than it is to go.
Sorry?
It's easier to get entrapped, temptation, than
Yes.
it is to go the other way.
Our Gurudev, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he gave a very nice analogy. He said his desires, most of you must have commuted by trains, in local trains in India, on the streets also. If you go, a beggar will come, supposing. You give money to a beggar, then so many other beggars will come. Right? That's the way it happens. So our Gurudev said very nice thing. He said these desires, they come and approach us as a beggar. Please fulfill me, please fulfill me. And if we fulfill one desire, then so many other desires will come. Because then they will see, that the desires also, they have personal form. They will see that the person's mind and mental level is so weak, easily we can capture him. So initially we think that we are fulfilling the desires. Then later on, we become so addicted, then difficult to give up. Then we are captivated by the desires. So initially they come in the form of a beggar, then they become the rulers. They rule our mind. So that's the reason from beginning we have to be very careful. Very, very careful. Now see, from next week Navratri will start. So as I said in one of the sessions, our Vedic system is so sacred. Sorry, tomorrow? Navratri, 19th. 19th is Amavasya, yes, tomorrow. So our Vedic system is so sacred. Even the new year starts with austerity, tapasya. Tapasya is the integral part of our Vedic culture. Yes, our scriptures don't say that we don't enjoy, we should not enjoy, no. But when we start anything, we initiate something with austerity, with discipline, then we know how much to enjoy. We don't get carried away by the enjoyment.
But we also have been given a kind of like a time, not a timeline, but like an idea, like what age we should be doing what, right? So we are supposed to, if we are alive or after a certain age, move more and more towards like only spiritual activities, right?
Yes. See, that's the division is made according to the Varnashrama system.
Yes.
Correct? Brahmacharya ashram, Grahast ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, Sannyas ashram. So, yes, that's a general rule. But now,
It's not happening because I mean, sorry. I just recently we went for a walk and Sham, they were all disagreeing with me. I said, no, but as you go older, you should go towards more this and that. They said, no, what? Many people feel like if they, as they grow older, they feel younger. They want to feel younger. So they do activities that make them feel younger. So they don't feel like they're old. I said, that's going like backwards. Like, because the reason why I brought up is because in Jainism, I really respect like how when I see our Marwari friends, like they do so much samaj work after the age of 60, 70. So I told one of my friend, it's admirable. She goes, no, in Jainism, if by 60, 70 you're not doing full-fledged samaj work, everybody will talk about you. Because they will say, he's not doing work for the samaj, like for the community, for the Jainism, for it to grow. They said after 60, 70, everybody has to do it. And if you don't, you'll be kind of like blacklisted in the samaj. Like, see, they're not doing any spiritual work.
That kind of fear.
But it's also
But it works.
But I mean, it's their system. After 60, 70, people who are older, they should not be handling the business.
But then who told you that, like the brahmachari here, Maharashtra is actually making you old? In fact, I think
I agree.
the original system
Yes.
makes you younger. The reason why it makes you younger is because if you go to the forest, you're supposed to leave your kids and live on your own. They're trying to make you more independent. Nowadays, what we do is we make the elderly very dependent.
Yeah.
And so what it was originally meant for was actually great. What we do now is actually really, really not that great.
See that the gradual transition, gradual progress. If we follow that pattern, the Vedic system of brahmacharya ashram, virasashram, vanaprastha, then there's a gradual and willful progression. So then there is no regret.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, in old age also people, they want to feel young and all that because they feel so dissatisfied with their life.
And they feel like they don't want to get old. So they'll do everything that will not make them look old or like behave old.
Now, this kind of desire also, it originates from our spirit. Because soul doesn't get old. It's not the soul's quality to grow older, right? But the body is getting older, but the desire is still there, right? This is also, sorry?
You're driven by your senses.
Yes,
Attachment.
correct. So the senses also, they don't grow old, but sense organs become old. So the desire is strong, the desire to enjoy and feeling also is very strong. Sense is also very strong, but the sense organs have become very weak, and that causes frustration. But if the person is giving proper knowledge that this is the way you have to live your life, you have to progress spiritually in your life, that kind of frustration won't happen. And because of that frustration and all that, these kind of problems are increasing. Depression and all these are increasing. Why? Because people, they are bereft of this knowledge, how to live their life. Most of the human beings, they don't live their life. They don't know how to live their life. Then how can they live their life? And when they are even informed about what is mentioned in the scriptures, because they are so much conditioned in that way, they are not ready to listen. They say, no, life, this is only one time, we have to enjoy and all that. And because of that kind of mindset, that kind of conditioning, so many problems are there in the world. These kind of problems were not there because proper gradual progression was there. And in some of my Ayurvedic seminars also, I say, about this Varnashrama system. Because that system was there after the age of generally 50 now, as Kiran said, people would leave the household life. They will go and stay in the forest and all that. Now they are still stuck in the families, in the houses. Correct? So I jokingly say, that they don't go to the forest, but they make the families as forests. They start barking at each other. That progression is not there. And see what happens from Ayurvedic perspective. After the age of 50, the Vata, the air element, becomes very strong. It has strong influence. So to make that Vata flow regularly, the person has to keep on walking. That's why people would go and visit the places of pilgrimage, Tirath Yatra, right? The elderly people would go do that. Because that's the way the Vata has to be engaged, the air has to be engaged. And Vata makes people to talk also. So instead of staying at household life, talking nonsense, with the younger generation, they go out and speak, have that interaction with the sages, saintly people at the places of pilgrimage, and that will help them to progress spiritually, advance spiritually, and then eventually get liberated. So system was very scientific, very spiritual and scientific. So household life also for younger generation is already very peaceful. Not so much of nagging by the elderly people, right?
It's true.
No, I'm just looking in your direction.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
looking at
it's
you
true.
in person.
It's true because it was very systematic. Right?
Yes, yes, yes. The whole system was very scientific.
Now older people don't want to be. They think they're young.
They think they want to become, and
want
because
to
they
become,
cannot become, they become very frustrated.
Yeah.
And that frustration comes out, right, in different ways. Finding faults in younger generation, nagging them, do this, do that.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, so many serials, Saas Bahu, right? So yeah, so our whole Vedic system was very, very, the spiritual objective was the topmost, the priority. At the same time, it was scientific. The material aspect of life was not neglected at all. And that's the reason it is said, when we have spiritual knowledge, our material life also becomes, we live our material life also more carefully. It's not why we become neglectful, we become more careful. So we don't lose by acquiring this knowledge. Right? Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.